Hello, friends, and welcome to the North Area Athletic Complex on StreamItSports.com. Here bringing you the Standley Lake Gators taking on the Denver South Rebels. My name is Andrew Fogoros, joined by Josh Dover. Standley Lake is 2-3, coming off a lopsided loss to Dakota Ridge, and Denver South is 3-2 after beating Pueblo South last week. Josh, what are you looking for with each team today?
Well, you said it. Denver South coming in here, picking up a win, and the Gators coming off a big loss to Dakota Ridge. Dakota Ridge, of course, a powerhouse. We talked to Coach Don Morse before the game. They're dealing with a ton of injuries, but happy with the way his guys fought back. So we'll look for a big game from Standley Lake, their quarterback Naranjo, and Connor Durant, of course, the stars. And then on the other side, Denver South, heavy rushing attack, led by Trevante Tasco, a guy we got to see down on the field, a bulldozer, to say the least.
I'm scared of him. I'm not lying when I say I'm scared of him. Kickoff was a touchback, a big boot from Standley Lake. Denver South starts at their own 20-yard line. We'll see where they go from here.
Tasco's that big 24 you see in the backfield right now. He's averaging 184 yards per game.
In the full house. Looks like we have a trap play to Tasco, and like you said, he is rumbling all the way down to the Standley Lake 43-yard line.
See him right there, break a couple of tackles, just let him get out in the open. And even for the big 250-pounder that he is, still scooting away from defenders.
Scooting away, and he's tough to catch too, tough to bring down, and he brings speed with it. Big 36-yard gain for Tasco. Brings you 1st and 10 for the Denver South Rebels in the white. Oh, ball's on the ground. Nice play by Tasco to recover it. Looks like a botched snap.
Smart by Tasco there to just jump on it, not try to pick it up and make a play.
Looking at 2nd and 16 from midfield. Exactly where Standley Lake wants them.
I think that was the quarterback, Singleton, throwing his hand warmer off to the side. I don't know if that caused the fumble or got in his way, but he got rid of it.
Another full house set with 3 backs. 3 big backs, mind you. Inside play to Tasco again, bounces it outside.
He's still on his feet. That was Connor Durant on that far side who tried to make the diving tackle. He just bounced off of Tasco.
Picks up the 1st down on the 17-yard gain for Tasco.
That almost a little body. His height not being, not being a very tall guy. He put that hand down, able to keep his center of balance and keep going.
Looks like Tasco's going to get a breather, and Marcus Lindsay, the senior, is in for the Denver South Rebels. Another inside handoff play. Lindsay goes up the middle for, he's still up, still going. He is close to the 1st down marker. We see a little speed from him there, and then he's tough to bring down as well.
Yeah, contact about 5 yards in, and then he kept the pile going for another 5 yard. Going to be just short of the 1st down.
Just short. Looking at 2nd and 1 at the 24-yard line for Denver South. Marching down the field with their large offensive line. Another full house set. Inside play to Lindsay again, bounces it outside. Sniffed out very well by Standley Lake.
That was a good job making the tackle. It was number 9, Jesse Nordman, able to wrap him up at his feet and hang on and bring him down.
Very nice play by Standley Lake for a loss of yardage. We're looking at 3rd and 3. We'll see whether they bring Tasco back. It looks like he's coming back in. I have to imagine they'd be giving the ball to him on an inside carry again.
Yeah, 3rd and a few. So let your big guy go get it. He is just a
he is a big boy, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this game, you see
250 pounds.
Inside play to Tasco.
Oh, I think they
nice
stopped
defense
him.
by, he's still going. Looks like his 2nd effort may have gotten him the 1st down.
That referee on the far side marked pretty close.
Pretty close. Looks like they're going to move the chains here. Again, 2nd effort from Tasco.
Yeah, he was stopped short for sure. 2nd effort. May have moved the chains.
And there's the referee calling a 1st down for Denver South. Looking at 1st and 10 from about the 22-yard line for Denver South, marching down the field, trying to get on the board early and take the lead from the Standley Lake Gators.
The Rebels, Tasco's still in that backfield, but they're not afraid to hand the ball off. They'll hand the ball off to about 4 of their players, Tasco and Lindsay, the featured backs, but everyone in that backfield is capable of making a play.
No question. Another full house set. We've seen this every single play so far. Another inside play to Tasco. Gains about 6 or 7 yards on the inside handoff for 2nd and 4 inside the 20-yard line for Denver South.
It's Isaiah Singleton, the quarterback. You have to throw the ball, like you said, Andrew, but 6 of 10. Coach said before the game they're not afraid to let him try to throw the football, but I guess it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. 2nd and 4 for Denver South at the 16-yard line. Another inside play for Tasco. Breaking some tackles, running hard. Looks like he's just short. I think they're marking him just barely short of the 1st down marker. Fans are a little unruly, saying blow the whistle.
Yeah, that second effort that got Tasco the first down, there was a little extracurricular. Same thing that time. You got to let him play a little bit.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've noticed, Josh, but number 52 for Denver South, Kashim Stevenson's always in the backfield. He's listed as an offensive lineman. They are just big up front and in the backfield. 3rd and 1, inside play to Lindsay, bounces it outside.
He's going to score.
He is in the house. Touchdown for Lindsay and the Denver South Rebels.
A little bit of thunder and lightning.
Absolutely.
Tasco eating him up inside and let Lindsay break it away on the outside. Nobody can catch him.
Reminds me of his brother up in Boulder playing for the Colorado Buffaloes, Philip Lindsay. Nice play by Lindsay there on that touchdown.
That's Marcus Lindsay's 5th touchdown on the season. And Denver South on the board. Now, we were talking about this on the field, watching them kick the ball. It's windy down there.
It certainly is. A lot of breeze.
Saw a couple of them sail on them.
Yep. So here comes the extra point for Denver South to push the lead to 7. And it is blocked. Blocked by Standley Lake. And we want to let you know that during today's game, we will recognize one player as the next level student athlete player of the game. And each week, one player will receive a 1-year scholarship to the next level student athletes game plan high school program. You can get more info by visiting nextlevelsa.com. That is nextlevelsa.com. 6-0 Denver South Rebels with 7:45 left in the first quarter. Pretty much what we were expecting. Isn't that right, Josh?
Yeah, heavy dose of the run. Like I said, let Tasco beat him up on the inside and let Lindsay break away on the outside. It was Josh Jones, number 80, who missed the extra point. It looked like he just kicked the top of the football. But it is windy down there, like we said.
Kicked his center in the butt.
I don't think I could make the extra point, so I'm not going to criticize.
I'm not going to criticize either. I could maybe make it, but I would absolutely hurt something. Hip flexor, groin,
Pull
something.
Groin, yeah.
Exactly. My career would be very short as a kicker.
Well, Josh Jones is a multi-talented guy. Also plays tight end and defensive back, just a sophomore. So he'll get his chance.
Denver South is ready for the kickoff from the 40-yard line. A little squib kick up the middle, picked up by Standley Lake. Bouncing the ball out to the right. He's got a large hole. Nice return out to the 38-yard line for the Standley Lake Gators, where they will start 1st and 10. What do you like to see from Standley Lake's offense on this possession, Josh?
Well, that was Kellen Mueller there who gave their offense some breathing room. But talk about the quarterback for Standley Lake. We talked to Coach about him before the game. Jacob Naranjo, him and Connor Durant. If you can get Connor Durant the football, he'll make something happen. And Naranjo, a good quarterback, can beat you with his feet, but Coach trusts him to make plays and throw the ball downfield. So Naranjo and number 81, Connor Durant. They got to carry this Gators offense.
1st and 10 for Standley Lake at the 39-yard line in the I formation. Run up the middle for a short gain for Standley Lake. We're looking at about 2nd and 8.
The inside handoff to Kerr, Michael Kerr, with 185 yards last week and a couple of touchdowns in the loss to Dakota Ridge, and averaging 105 yards per game. So you'll see a lot of Michael Kerr.
Looks like we have an official timeout on the field, an equipment issue for Denver South. Refs will definitely err towards the side of caution when it comes to equipment with these kids. Looking at 2nd and 8 from the 41 for the Standley Lake Gators. Naranjo under center in the I formation. Fullback trap up the middle. Stop for no gain. Looked like they're the fans calling for the whistle again. Looks like Denver South got a great jump on the snap there.
We know Tasco's a big boy, but 5'10", 225 goes John Ruiz Perez. I like saying that. He got the fullback give right there.
Yes, he certainly did. Now we're looking at 3rd and long from the 37-yard line for Standley Lake. Looking for Naranjo to air it out here, Josh?
You'd like to see him take a shot downfield. Maybe Don Morse keep the defense guessing a little bit. Wide
nice
open.
Pass to the left side. Wide open. Grant Gladstone for the Standley Lake Gators. Nice play, nice big game for the Gators on 3rd and long.
It's head coach Don Morse trusting his guy Jacob Naranjo, and I do like that. Keep this Denver South defense guessing. That way they can't play on their toes as much to try to stop the run game with Michael Kerr. You see that big number 42 defensive end for the Rebels. He's going to be somebody to keep an eye on. He's standing about 6'6" down there.
That is Jet Jenkins, another cool name. Naranjo under center again. They have motion coming to the right. Little misdirection. Run play up the middle for about 5 yards. Nice gain on 1st down for the Standley Lake Gators. Now, you mentioned the wind a couple times. Do you expect Standley Lake to maybe keep the ball on the ground a little bit more to combat the wind?
You know, I think they'll, to start them off, I think we will see a lot of Kerr and a little bit of Ruiz Perez, but Jacob Naranjo can throw the football downfield, and head coach Don Morse trusts him to do that. And like I said, Connor Durant, who's top of your screen right now, running away number 81, he's a heck of a player. If you get the ball in his hands, he's going to make something happen.
Looks like he's lined up one-on-one right now. Naranjo under center, drops back, runs a quick hitch to number 6, Grant Gladstone. Incomplete pass, 3rd and 5.
Anthony Moore in that area right there. That's just bad timing, quarterback and receiver.
Looking at 3rd and 5 for the Standley Lake Gators. You're in 4-down territory here if I'm Coach Morse.
Yeah, especially with, like we were just talking about, the wind. Can't really trust that the kicker can execute with the wind.
Absolutely. Got double wide to the right under the I formation for Standley Lake. Naranjo under center, takes the snap, drops back. There he goes to Durant.
Yeah, looking for Connor Durant, but Durant double teamed.
Double covered on that play. Right idea. Looks like Naranjo's coming off the field and they will be punting it away.
They're going to play the field position game here.
No, actually they're not. He was just coming to get some instruction. Naranjo's heading back out to the field on 4th and 5 from the 43-yard line. I think this is a smart decision by Coach Morse.
Yeah, 4th and 5, so certainly 4th and manageable, and be a long field goal. Hate to play the field battle game and it just end up as a touchback.
Absolutely.
So
I formation. Naranjo under center, drops back, going deep. He's got Durant.
Oh, intercepted.
Picked off. He's returning the ball. He's got some room. He's at the 50. He is at the 40, the 35, the 30, the 20. Out of bounds at the 24-yard line. That is Devontae Loggins for Denver South.
Devontae Loggins, he just played the ball in the air better than Connor Durant did. Durant didn't do a good job of playing defensive back, which is ironic because he does. But that ball kind of floated. Naranjo let it float, and the wind probably helped out a little bit. And Loggins just played the ball better. And then the playmaker, when he got the ball, took off downfield.
Absolutely, that was a nice play for Denver South. Now, if he was able to pick that off and Durant bring him down there, I'd say no harm, no foul. More like an effective punt.
Yeah, it was 4th down.
But a very nice return by Loggins to get it deep into Standley Lake territory.
All the momentum still with Denver South, who scored on that first drive.
They just marched it right down the field. Tasco up the middle,
Oh,
running
wow.
over guys.
Wow.
He is scoring. He is in the end zone.
I don't know if you got to see it there, but he had contact about 4 yards after and literally bounced off of the kid.
What a run by Trevante Tasco.
Wow.
Looking at 12-0 for the Denver South Rebels. And it looks like they'll be going for 2 to push the lead to 14. Get your school's games live streamed, whether it's basketball, hockey, rugby, or any other sport. Email Phil at streamitsports.com for details. 2-point conversion for the Denver South Rebels. Full house again. Tasco with the ball, and he
Just won't go
he
down.
will not go down. He was hit 3 yards behind the goal line and was able to punch it in.
You know, we talked to the head coach for the Rebels, Tony Lindsay, before the game. I asked him, what do you think about this kid's talent at the next level? If he can grow a few inches and get in the right situation, a university that will just let this guy be the workhorse, he could do some damage at the next level.
He's a horse, unlike most running backs we see, in not only the state, but in the entire country at this level. 14-0, Denver South Rebels, 5 minutes left in the first quarter. We'll see what Standley Lake can do to put together another drive. They moved it well last time, but the interception, as we all know, and the return deep into Standley Lake territory set them up nicely to score again.
Talk about Tasco being the workhorse. 5 games played, 912 yards on the season.
Heck of a player. We talked to Coach Morse before the game, and they're missing some guys due to injury as well, so that doesn't help the Gators situation at all.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, the Gators had a real bad Friday night and lost about 6 starters. And Morse said that hadn't got much better.
Standley Lake with the return up to the 13-yard line, so they'll have a long field ahead of them to try to cut into this lead. 4:54 left in the first quarter here at the NAAC.
Down 2 scores, I don't think you have to panic yet, throw the football. Still let Michael Kerr do what he does and keep that Rebel defense guessing.
Absolutely. Plenty of time left for Standley Lake to turn this game around and make it a ball game. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line for the Standley Lake Gators. Looks like the I formation, double tight end with Durant split out to the right, Naranja under center. He takes a snap, hands the ball off up the middle. Ball is on the ground. Looks like it's picked up by Denver South.
Well, when it rains, it pours.
Aaron Knox with the recovery by the Denver South Rebels at the Standley Lake 15-yard line.
It was Michael Kerr who fumbled the football. That big defensive and offensive front, really, when you're talking about the Rebels. Those big linemen making a huge impact already here in this game. 14-0
Denver South. Looks like they are going to be in the I formation for the first time this game with 2 wide receivers. And of course, Tasco in the backfield. Run a counter play to Tasco. He bounces it outside. Looks like he is stopped for a 2-yard gain. The fans are calling for a holding. I thought I saw one on that play personally.
I didn't see it, but I did see Connor Durant make a tackle, and maybe for the first time in this game, Tasco was taken down on first contact.
Absolutely, nice play by Durant to bring down Tasco to bring up 2nd and long for the Denver South Rebels from the 14-yard line.
2nd and 9, so just 1 yard gain for the Rebels.
I formation again for the Rebels with Tasco in the backfield. Snap, hands it off to Tasco. He's got room up the middle. Looks like he got a gain of 7 there. Make it 3rd and short. Big hole by the Denver South offensive line.
He has yet to throw it. The first one is really going to catch the Gators sleeping and could be a big play.
It'll catch me off guard as well. 3rd and 1 from the 8-yard line for the Denver South Rebels. Under center, hands it off to Lindsey again. He bounces it out, and he will score easily.
Untouched.
Touchdown number 2 for Marcus Lindsey, the sophomore running back for Denver South. Put the score at 22-0 for the Denver South Rebels. 3:26 left in the first quarter. We'll see what Denver South does here. Looks like they'll go for 2 again. I think the wind is scaring off Coach Lindsey for Denver South. Might not want to kick the ball.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, kicking game's not the biggest, strongest suit for a high school football team.
You may be right, and by that I mean you are. Singleton runs the option to the right side. He'll cut it up in, and he did not get it. He is just short. He was close, but just short, so we're sticking with 20-0.
Looked like he thought about trying to reach that ball out to break the plane, but then thought twice as he was wrestled to the ground.
A good effort by Singleton, but stopped short nonetheless.
Now you start talking about maybe having to throw the football.
Absolutely, down 20-0 early in the game. Big key here is not turning the ball over by Standley Lake.
You don't want to isolate Michael Kerr and not make him part of the game, but even if it's a couple of screen passes or checkdowns to Kerr to keep him involved, you got to take some shots downfield. You got to put some points on the board here.
No question, Josh. I think this is a pivotal drive for Standley Lake to get points here. Any kind of points just to get on the board. Lindsey is back to kick the ball off for Denver South. And here comes the kick by the Rebels. Kicks it deep down the right side and out of bounds. Kickoff out of bounds by Denver South. Get the only magazine in Colorado featuring every school in the state's football program. Featuring some of the top players, including the All-Colorado team. Colorado Football Magazine. Order yours today at www.coloradofootballmagazine.com. And Colorado businesses, be a part of these broadcasts. Sponsorship opportunities are limited, so contact us to secure a spot in next week's broadcast and for future games. 20-0 here, Josh. What do you expect to see from Standley Lake as they start this drive from the 35-yard line?
Let's see if Coach Don Morris lets Jacob Naranjo take a chance downfield. First down could surprise him.
Single back formation. Looks like you give the ball up the middle to Standley Lake's version of Tasco, a big kid up the middle.
Yeah, that's Ruiz Perez again. Just for a gain of a couple. Said that defensive line of the Rebels just too big up front.
Very big up front. Not just wide, but tall too. You see how tall these kids are. 2nd and 7 at the 38-yard line for Standley Lake.
And maybe you try Michael Kerr's speed to the outside and see if you can beat one of these defensive ends to that edge.
Give up the middle. Stuffed.
Popped right at the line of scrimmage by Aaron Knox.
Aaron Knox again making plays all day long. Good play by Knox to bring up 3rd and long. 3rd and a long 8.
Like Knox almost anticipating the run right there. So that's what I'm talking about. Maybe taking a chance downfield to catch that Rebel defense asleep.
3rd and long for the Standley Lake Gators. A little over 2 minutes left in the first quarter. We're going to bunch left formation for Naranjo under center. Takes snap, drops back, throws it out wide to Durant. There he is. Oh, nice play by Denver South to knock the ball loose.
I think Durant maybe anticipated contact, and maybe shook him up a little bit.
Looks like they had the right play call drawn up. Just a little better defense.
I would have liked to seen that on first down, like I said. Maybe you know, attack early so you don't have to punt the ball right here.
Looks like the wind is very strong right to left. Maybe a little in the punter's face. Punts it, not very far, to the left side, out of bounds at about the 45-yard line of Denver South. Can you survive the dungeon? Join elite personal trainers Famey and Megan in the new Dungeon X competition classes. Email Matt at 60strength with the subject, I can handle the dungeon, for more information. Josh, I handled the dungeon.
You did.
I did handle the dungeon,
Nice.
so I think others should join them. Join myself in dominating the dungeon.
There you go.
I whooped it.
I need to challenge the dungeon.
Yes, you do. It's a lot of fun. First and 10 for Denver South, 45-yard line. Drops back, throws it out left, complete to Michael Johnson for a gain of 15 to the Standley Lake 40-yard line.
Singleton's first pass attempt, and Mike Johnson's his favorite target, 4 catches last week, but made those 4 catches 110 yards, one of them a touchdown. So he can make some people miss when he catches the football.
I understand why Coach Lindsey let Singleton air it out. That was a nice toss. Looks like he's very comfortable back there. First and 10 for Denver South at the 40-yard line of Standley Lake. Singleton under center, drops back, throws a slant. Incomplete, intended for Draymond Griffin, the freshman, no less, for Denver South.
Yeah, we were down on the field watching them run those slant routes before the game, and Singleton was making the plays. Coach talking about this being Singleton's first year as quarterback. He came around, you know, bounced around playing defensive back, playing wide receiver. So he's a pretty good pocket passer for this being just his first year.
Singleton hands the ball to Tasco up the middle. Stuffed for a gain of 1. I really thought they were going to blow that dead with forward progress stopped.
It's Jess Nordman who made the tackle rather. You see
Lost.
the same fans who were wanting the whistle blown are happy now.
Exactly, loss of 2 on the play. 3rd and 12 for Denver South. We're under a minute left in the first quarter. Score 20-0 Denver South in a 3rd and long situation here.
This is a big stop here. It could be a big stop for the Gators.
Singleton drops back. End around for Denver South.
That's Mike Johnson on that far side.
We have flags on the field. Be interesting to see what we have here as he was stopped, which would bring up a 4th and 10, depending on the penalty. First flag of the game.
Almost got through a whole quarter.
Almost. We'll see what the refs call here. Looks like it's going to be on Denver South as the refs are talking to the Standley Lake captain about what they want to do here.
So 4th and 10 from the 40, depending on the variety. I think you decline and make them punt. Question is, would the Rebels punt or keep the foot on the accelerator?
Looks like they're going to accept a penalty. It looks like holding. Looks like it'll be 3rd and 20 as Standley Lake accepts the holding penalty by Denver South. It will be 3rd and, wow, 3rd and
18.
20, 3rd and 28. 3rd and very long.
Not a lot in the
Singleton.
playbook for this.
Ooh, went deep down the right side. A nice toss by Singleton just out of the reach. I wouldn't doubt if the wind had played a little into that throw.
Malcolm Wright just couldn't get his outstretched arms underneath the ball, but that was a pretty good throw for Singleton. And we've talked about it, the wind's a factor. So now they're looking at 4th and 28.
4th and 3 miles for Denver South.
Looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field.
This is interesting. I'm not sure what's going on here. Gonna run a screen pass up the middle, snuffed out. Interesting call by Coach Lindsay in Denver South as they ran the bubble screen play for the wide receiver that gained about 7 yards on 4th and 28.
It was James Hardy who was the receiver. Yeah, interesting play call for sure. It's a big stop for the Gators, and now they have great field position.
Starting this drive in Denver South territory with 22.3 seconds left in the first quarter. Looks like they're going to go a big set, single back for the Gators. Center motion to the right, little play action boot. Wide open.
Grant Gladstone, he had to turn around opposite shoulder. Naranjo was being chased down by Marcus Lindsay, who's already scored a couple of touchdowns here. Gladstone was by himself.
I think if Naranjo was able to set his feet there, we're looking at 6.
Yeah, you're right. Gladstone was out at the 30 with no one behind him.
Do you like the play call there?
I do. I mean, you got to be aggressive. We're down 20-0 right now. You got to be real aggressive.
Looking at 2nd and 10 from the Denver South 49 for the Standley Lake Gators. Naranjo under center, motion to the left. Little misdirection again. Big hole for Standley Lake.
It's Kellen Muller.
Gain of 16 for Kellen Moore, the junior running back for Standley Lake. Big hole up the middle.
If the Gators can get by that first line of those big defensive linemen, the Rebels, get into the linebackers and safeties, make a couple of those guys miss.
Very nice play by Standley Lake. Sets up a 1st and 10. And that is the end of the first quarter. End of the first quarter here at the NAAC. Denver South Rebels 20, Standley Lake Gators nothing. Now, wanted to remind all you, we will be recognizing one player as the next level student athlete player of the game. Josh, anybody that stands out in your mind?
Tasco certainly stands out, but he does only have 1 touchdown right now. Marcus Lindsay with a couple. I'm just impressed with just Tasco running the football. His touchdown that he had, about a 12-yarder where he rolled over a Gator defender. So I'm impressed with both the running backs right now. We'll see who has, you know, the better stats as we roll towards the game, but it's still far from over. One of these Gator players could step up and impress as well. If you're the Gators, you have to score here. Still a lot of time, like I just said, but just for confidence moving forward, you want to be able to show your players and let them show themselves that they can hang with the Rebels.
Big drive for Standley Lake here. I feel like you have to get points here, as we've been saying all along. And 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Now's the time they have to capitalize.
Connor Durant's the lone wide receiver. I think you got to try to get him involved as much as you can. We've seen him already go his way a few times.
Looks like he's matched up with Devontae Loggins, who had the pick earlier,
right.
and we usually see Durant have a size advantage. Not today. Looked pretty equally matched.
And Loggins' athleticism, you see him right there playing right up at the line, so he knows he can run with him.
Naranjo under center.
Wow.
Little fake pitch play.
Anthony Moore was met right when he received the ball.
Read about the 2014 Top 40 Seniors, top positional players, and the players to watch in this year's Colorado Football Magazine. Get your copy today. 2nd and 11 from the 34-yard line for the Standley Lake Gators. Single back formation. Got motion coming to the left. Play action pass by Naranjo to Durant. Breaks a tackle, gets the 1st down. Big play for the Standley Lake Gators to get a 1st down there.
That's a real big play just for Connor Durant's confidence there. Let him make his first play, get a 1st down. See Jacob Naranjo talking to his tackle on that side, 77, Joe Vogel. And Vogel's trying to block Jet Jackson, big 42 that you were talking about. It's going to be a long day for big 77, Joe Vogel, but he did a good job that time, giving Naranjo enough time to complete the pass.
1st and 10 for Standley Lake at the 21-yard line. Motion to the left, Naranjo under center, fakes the fullback dive, gives it to the tailback, who is stuffed for no gain.
Yeah, it was Michael Kerr. He hasn't been able to get much going. Kellen Muller's running back onto the field now, who had their biggest run of the day. I think you're going to have to beat these Rebels to the edge. You're not going to get much inside the hash marks.
No gain on the play. Looking at 2nd and 10 for the Standley Lake Gators. Naranjo under center in the I formation. Got Durant split out to the left. Takes the snap, drops back, play action, and he will be sacked on the play by big 42, Jet Jenkins.
So there he is, Jet Jenkins. I think I called him Jackson, sorry, but again, tough to block that young man. And not often do you get what it looks like here, like a 6'6", 6'7" edge rusher.
Absolutely. It looks like he has speed and the leverage to get by the right tackle. 3rd and 16 for the Standley Lake Gators from the 27-yard line here in the 2nd quarter. Big 3rd down here, but again, feel like this is 4-down territory. This isn't a gain 16, maybe get about 8 or 9. Bring it to 4th and manageable. I formation, 3 split out for the Gators. Motion to the left. And he is sacked again. Naranjo, no time to throw the ball there.
You hear the crowd a little frustrated. That time it was that fullback, big Luis Perez, who just missed his block. And 52, Kashmeen Stevenson comes up with a sack.
4th and 22 at the 33-yard line. Looks like Naranjo will stay out on the field for this 4th down, which is unorthodox, but not a bad call by Coach Morse, if you ask me.
Yeah, down 20. You got to get something going here.
Naranjo under center in the I formation. Durant split out to the right. Play action. Looks like they're going to run the screen to Durant. Snuffed out by Denver South for no gain, and turnover and downs.
I actually like that play call. I mean, it's a short route, obviously, but you get the ball into your best playmaker's hands. Credit to Devontae Loggins, who had the interception. That time just following Durant on the route, got a hold of his jersey as soon as he made the catch and brought him down.
Now Denver South ball, momentum back on their side. We have Tasco back in the backfield in the I formation. We saw Singleton sling it around last possession. We'll see if they do the same. Singleton drops back, hands the ball to Tasco, who bounces it out to the left. He's got some room. Rumbles his way for a gain of about 8 or 9.
So that play ended with Dakota Agata on the ground, and he didn't even try to make the tackle. So Tasco's out there looking for contact, and that's why he's so tough to defend. We've seen him rumble inside the hash marks, and that time he breaks to the edge and the fastest guy on the field.
Tough to stop, no doubt about it, inside, outside for Denver South. 2nd and 3 for the Rebels at the 40-yard line. I formation. Singleton under center, takes a snap. Play action to Tasco. Hit as he throws the ball. Picked off by Standley Lake. Brings it back to the 33-yard line.
Brody Hoffman with the interception. I think he's going to be a face mask, so.
Flag on the play.
You hear the Gator crowd celebrate, but maybe a little premature.
Looks like Singleton may have had his face mask grasped there. I could be wrong.
Singleton was pressured. That made him get rid of the ball early, and he had to throw it off balance. Gators seem to be happy coming off the field. This may be a turnover.
Turnover. Big play by Standley Lake. Holding on the offense resulted the play. First down for the Standley Lake Gators on the interception.
So that's a huge play for the Gators, momentum changer. If they can score on this drive, that could change a lot about this ball game.
Looks like they're going to change it up a little bit and go out of the shotgun. Naranjo in the shotgun right now with 3 receivers split out to the right.
It's Ruiz Perez staying back to help block.
Throws it to the right side, caught by Durant. Gain of about 9.5. Looks like he's just short of that first down marker.
Throwing the ball on first down like we talked about earlier. Being aggressive, go out there and get it rather than see what the defense gives you.
Second and short for the Standley Lake Gators at the 23-yard line. We'll see if they stay in that shotgun set. Naranjo had time to throw the ball and made a nice toss to Duran on first down. Nice in-game adjustments by Standley Lake coaching staff here.
Something we talked to Don Morris about before the game.
Naranjo under center. Got a flag on the play.
It looks like movement up front.
Let's get the call from the refs. Possibly delay of game. Maybe movement.
You got a false start. No, you're right.
Looks like delay of game. That's the last thing Standley Lake wanted there. And second and less than 1. Now they're looking at second and a long 5, maybe second and 6. Putting Naranjo back in the shotgun for second and 6 for Standley Lake at the 28-yard line. 3 receivers split out to the left. Snap, Naranjo drops back. Oh, wow! What a grab by Durant. One-handed snag.
That's a heck of a catch. The ball was thrown behind him, and he reached back and grabbed it, posted it on his hip.
What a grab. That's a SportsCenter top 10, my friends.
Confidence, again, talking about confidence. Let this kid get going.
Something you've mentioned, Josh, is if you have playmakers, may as well use them, and that's what Standley Lake's doing now.
And going back to what you said, Don Morse and Connor Durant talk about making in-game adjustments. Don Morse said he figured they would kind of line up Connor Durant and keep an eye on him, and he said he could do a good job of making in-game adjustments himself.
Naranjo under center, gives it to the up back for a short gain.
You're going to stay true to that. I like that because it keeps the defense honest, but those little fullback inside gives haven't done much for the offense, but it does keep the defense honest.
If nothing else, it shows that it's still in their playbook.
Right.
Second and 8, first trip in the red zone for Standley Lake. They've been on the verge a few times, but now they're inside the red zone. And if I'm Standley Lake, I'm going end zone or bust.
Yeah, you definitely got to get the 6 here.
Naranjo back in the shotgun. 3 receivers split out to the right. Motion to the left. Drops back. Has his man wide open on the right side. Dropped.
That was Michael Kerr that time. He tried to run before he caught the football. He had daylight, probably could have scored there easily, but turned around and ran before he looked the ball in.
Nice read by Naranjo there to find Kerr in space. Maybe the sun played a part in that. Who knows? Now we're looking at 3rd and 8 for the Gators.
Kerr's going to run off, and coach is just going to tell him to look that thing in.
See what Standley Lake has dialed up on this 3rd and long. My guess is Durant. Naranjo in the shotgun again. 3 receivers split out to the right. Drops back. Little pressure. Throws it to the end zone. Touchdown, Standley Lake. Nice toss from Naranjo.
Anthony Moore.
Anthony Moore, the senior.
You're right. That's a heck of a toss there from Naranjo. And a great route ran by Anthony Moore. Get those defensive backs to play one way, and then you turn to the other. You see Michael Kerr pacing down here. He is mad that he missed that last catch.
That was one of those plays that he had where coaches don't need to say anything. He knows.
Right.
He knows.
He ran off a couple teammates, tried to give him a high five. He wanted nothing to do with it.
And they'll bring the extra point team on. Decline penalty on Denver South. 20-6, pending the extra point with 5:56 left in the first half. Great job by Standley Lake to bounce back.
It's exactly what they needed, and that interception from Brody Hoffman pays off, turns into a touchdown, and now 7 points. Look at that, Connor Durant, also the place kicker.
Absolutely. 6-0 strength. There's only one way to be called part of the Dungeon family, and that's to survive the Dungeon Challenge. Want to be one of the select few? Email I can handle the dungeon to Matt@60strength for more info. And we want to let Colorado businesses know you can be a part of these broadcasts. Sponsorship opportunities are limited, so contact us to secure a spot in next week's broadcast and for future games.
Speaking of our buddy Matt, I hope he's all right in his recovery.
They got him an extra wide bed for his back surgery recovery.
Yes. Reinforced steel.
Reinforced steel. Nothing like kicking a man while he's literally down. I actually went and visited him the other day. He's on the road to recovery. It's going to be a long recovery, but he's on his way. So we wish him the best, and hopefully those nurses are keeping him well fed.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a hangry beast.
He does get hangry.
Durant back for the kickoff for the Standley Lake Gators. He has got a big leg on him. Kicks it to the 5-yard line. Denver South brings it out. Got a big hole on the left side. He is out to the 38-yard line. Nice return for Denver South.
Soiree Pool. And on the tackle was Connor Durant. So, again, doing a little bit of everything.
We talk about the next level athletes. And we've talked about Lindsay and Tasco for Denver South. Durant has to be up there for Standley Lake. Would you agree, Josh?
Yeah, even Jacob Naranjo, the quarterback. But Durant, who made the one-handed catch, that first down that he picked up, I thought was, a confidence builder, got him rolling. And now he's in his zone, so we'll see if he can come back out and do it when the offense gets the ball.
Not to mention the highlight reel play he made on that third down for Standley Lake. Tasco with the ball. He is in space. He is at the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. Takes two guys to bring him down at the 8-yard line. Looks like we got a flag on the play. Might be Tasco getting in the grill of one of Standley Lake's players.
Yeah, he was fired up. I love that about Tasco, though. You see him on that far side running. He changes hands, first of all, to get ready for his stiff arm, which is great. If you're talking about playing at the next level, that's what your coach is going to want to see. But anticipating the contact and getting ready for it. Not waiting for it, almost initiating it.
Absolutely right. We await word on the refs for what the flag is. I have a feeling it's going to be unsportsmanlike on Tasco.
We've got a Gators Letterman jacket in the crowd here.
It's gut.
That's impressive.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. The 15-yard penalty will push him out to about the 23-yard line.
That's just a mental mistake. Tasco comes off the field standing right next to coach on that far side. Again, I'm sure he knows it.
Bringing in Lindsay on this play. I formation. Singleton hands the ball off to Lindsay. Muscles ahead for close to a first down. We may need a measurement on this one. If that's not a first down, he's just short.
This offensive line for the Rebels doing a great job. Not just blocking, but staying with their blocks.
Getting to the next level.
Right, they know their running back is good enough to make the first guy miss, so they have to stay with the play to create more room downfield.
Second and short for the Rebels. Singleton under center, hands the ball off to Lindsay, who bounces it outside. It is stuffed out. Big defensive play by the Standley Lake Gators. Grant
Gladstone on that far side made the tackle.
Seems like the two names we're calling a lot for Standley Lake are Gladstone and Durant.
Yeah, Gladstone made a couple of plays already defensively. He also was, a few yards bad throw from Naranjo away from scoring a touchdown, but Naranjo was under pressure at that time, so Gladstone's certainly making an impact.
3rd and 6 for Denver South. Tasco's back in the game. Toss out to Tasco. Gets a few blocks, cuts it up the field, and he will get the first down at the 12-yard line. First time we've seen that toss play to Tasco.
And you can see Tasco there in the scrum. He's the littlest guy on the field, but the fastest and strongest. Looks like he's limping a little.
So he's got a little hitch in his giddy up. You see the pink tape for breast cancer awareness month. We'll see that in NFL fields across the country. Looks like Tasco's gonna hobble off the field.
Yeah, he is a little limpy on the run off.
Might have gotten rolled up on in that little scrum. Under 4 minutes here in the second quarter. Singleton hands the ball to Lindsay. Lindsay cuts up the field. He is stopped at the 5-yard line.
It's a good tackle by Kellen Muller there. Squared up to the running back, wrapped him up, and held on.
Looking at 2nd down. Denver South can get a first down at the 1-yard line. We'll see what South can do on this play. Lindsay is still in the game as Tasco is getting looked at on the sideline.
South's done a good job of eating this clock up as well on this drive.
Singleton hands the ball to Lindsay, who is stuffed up the middle. Great penetration by the Gators.
Lindsay looked like he just tried to jump over that little huddle there, or a little pile of offensive linemen. He was met in midair.
Great penetration by the Gators there to close the hole quickly. 3rd and 5 at the 6-yard line for Denver South. Looks like Tasco is still on the sidelines. He was looking to get in on this play. Coach has pulled him back, so it will be Lindsay in the backfield. Singleton under center. We'll see what the play call is here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Denver South air it out here.
Amon Wright back there too. Maybe he'll get a chance. Oh, you're right.
Wow, nice cut upfield by Malcolm Wright. Had the play snuffed out, but cut it upfield for a touchdown for Denver South.
Yeah, the play was certainly snuffed out. A little sidestep from Malcolm Wright. And he strolls into the end zone.
Looks like Durant had him squared up, but put on the juke move. These kids in space are tough.
Absolutely. Denver South full of athletes, not just in the backfield. Standley Lake coordinator's not happy about that one.
Looks like Denver South will be going for 2 again as the score is 26-7. Singleton under center. Hands it off to Lindsay. Get the ball. Makes a move, and he is fighting. He is in there for the 2-point conversion. We have a flag on the play. We'll see what the flag is. We'll get the call from the refs to see if this 2-point conversion will stand.
Lindsay right there showing his grit, though. Tasco not the only one able to make the pile move.
Face mask on Standley Lake. So the point is good for the 2-point conversion to put the score to 28-7, and the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. So they will be kicking the ball off from the Standley Lake 45-yard line.
Let's see if Denver South tries to use that to their advantage. Maybe let that ball float up in the air and try to pin the Gators back. There's still 2:21 left in this game. If they can get the ball back, they could score again before half. Obviously, if you're Standley Lake, you want to try to score yourself to cut the lead in half going into the half. Obviously, a lot easier said than done. That Rebel defense has been stout all game.
Making Naranjo's life tough. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. And we'll see if they can get some some time to give them some time to throw the ball here. And if you're Standley Lake, you've got all 3 timeouts, plenty of time left on the clock. They'll get the ball after halftime as well, so we'll see. This could be a big series for them.
It's Durant and Moore back deep. They're going to kick from the, the 45, like you said.
It's weird seeing a kickoff from there. It's odd.
It's right where we're at, so it's right in front of us, the press box.
Getting some more fans showing up here.
Yeah, school and works out.
That's right.
It's an early, we talked about it, 4 o'clock
4 o'clock kick. I've never heard of that on Thursday before, but it is what it is. And the kick. Kicks it deep to Durant at the 8-yard line, who brings it out. Cuts it right. Gets taken out at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Standley Lake Gators. High school athletes looking to play in college need a recruitment video, period. Don't settle for your team's game film. Stream It Sports can provide player-focused filming and editing to highlight your skills.
That's Mr. and Mrs. Travante Tasco. Mom and Dad, if you're listening, you should email Phil at Stream It Sports, because that young man has what it takes to play. Your own recruiting tape.
There's no question
nothing
about
but
that.
Helps.
No question about that. Phil is your man. I formation for Standley Lake. Naranjo drops back, fakes the handoff, throws it out to Gladstone, who's in space, gets about 5 yards on the play.
Aaron Knox with the tackle. We've said his name a few times already here today, too.
I think Coach was listening to you. Start throwing it on 1st down, get some success. I was surprised to see them in the I formation there. They had some success on their last drive in the shotgun.
Yeah, you're right, and it obviously gives the quarterback more time to throw Naranjo, but that time a quick little 3-step drop for him and finds his receiver. Looks like he's going to line up in the same position.
Single back for Standley Lake. Motion to the left. Give to the up back. Breaks a tackle. Nice second effort there to get the 1st down, it looks like.
See what they say. Of course.
Right at the mark.
Yep, they're going to say move the chains, so.
That'll move the chains.
Gators stop the clock with the chains moving.
1:31 left in the 1st half. And mind you, Standley Lake has all 3 of their timeouts. If you hear that band playing, this is a normal song you hear at Folsom Field on Saturdays.
There you go.
Naranjo in the shotgun. Takes the snap, drops back. Throws it out. Little high, just out of the reach for Michael Kerr. Although I'm sure Kerr will tell you he needs to come down with that ball. Would have been a nice catch.
Got his hands on it. Kerr only at 5'7", so it may have been a little high for him. What I like, we talked about in-game adjustments. Grant Gladstone that time, staying back to help block. That little chip block gave Naranjo the time that he needed to throw the football.
Give the Standley Lake coaches some credit. Like you said, Josh, is you see a lot of adjustments made at halftime. They're making them on the fly during the game. Naranjo's in the shotgun. Takes a snap on 2nd down. He's under pressure, steps up.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that was a big hit. You snuffed that out, Josh.
I saw Saray Poole playing center field right there, just watching the football, and thought that was going to be a bigger collision than it was.
Thankfully, it was not.
Right. That's a dangerous throw from Naranjo. Wind may have had something to do with that, though.
You see those corner routes are tough to cover in one-on-one coverage, but when you have the safety over the top like that, gives the advantage to the defense.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 3rd and 10 for the Gators at the 32-yard line. Naranjo's in the shotgun. 3 receivers that split out to the left. Takes a snap and drops back. A little slant to Durant. Gets the 2nd effort for a gain of about 10.
Looks like that tackle actually spun him forward a little bit.
Absolutely.
See, I like that. I don't think you necessarily have to take the big shot downfield that we saw in the play before. The slant route with Durant's working, and it's picking you up 10 every time, so, utilize it. You can use the middle of the field. Like you said, you have 3 timeouts, 55 seconds left here.
Looks like one of the timeouts will be used right now, wisely by Standley Lake. We talk about the slant play being used with Durant a lot. Can that open up maybe the slant and go at some point in the game?
Yeah, if you can get, Devontae Loggins is following Durant around, and he seems to be a pretty smart defensive back, but, it's only a matter of time before he tries to cheat up and cut that slant route off on the inside, and Durant can turn on that outside shoulder and be gone. If anybody's going to do it, you just said it, Don Morris and this team making in-game adjustments, they'll do it.
28-7 here in the second quarter with 55 seconds left in the first half. We're having a lot of options for player of the game today, and we thought early on that Denver South was going to run away with this, but Standley Lake, although they may be down 21, they're not rolling over.
Don Morris talked about that as well before the game. They had Dakota Ridge last week, and we all know what Dakota Ridge has to offer. He said that they hung in there and fought. 66-33 is the scoreboard. He wouldn't show it, but he said his guys never quit.
Naranjo under center with the bunch left formation. Drops back for the pass. So he overthrew Durant on that play. That was well covered by Denver South. Brings up second down. 5 seconds off the clock for that play.
And you saw it right there. Devontae Loggins is just going to chase Durant wherever he goes. They're on the bottom of your screen right now.
Naranjo in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Drops back. Steps up. Ooh, throws it over the middle. Picked off by Denver South. Malcolm Wright brings it back to the 29-yard line.
And you know what? That's not a bad play and not a bad throw from Naranjo. That's just a better defensive play for Malcolm Wright, who just stepped, just like we were just talking about. He just stepped in front of that slant route. That's just him being an athlete.
Absolutely. Give credit where credit is due, and nice play by Malcolm Wright to pick that off and bring it back to the 29-yard line of Standley Lake. Now, if you're Coach Lindsay, you have almost 40 seconds, 39.5 seconds left.
And all your timeouts.
All your timeouts, and I've been impressed with Singleton throwing the ball.
Yeah, why not give him a couple more chances? He's looked good doing so far. But you have your timeouts. The chains move, the clock stops, at least while the chains are moved. And we've seen Tasco and Lindsay. We know they're both capable of getting 10 yards on every time they touch the ball.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe early we see a screen pass to Lindsay, get him in some space. Doesn't work, you've got 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
Looks like Tasco's going to be in on this play.
Looks like Jacob Naranjo here too, walking off from the group with the trainer.
Singleton in the shotgun drops back. He looks like he was hit when he threw it. Oh! Interception dropped by Durant.
Yeah, it looked like Connor Durant and Kellen Muller both going for the same ball. You got to call somebody off.
Those ones are tough. That was a wobbler.
Yeah.
Those are not the easiest to catch either. Nice defense by Standley Lake there. Second down and 10 from the 29-yard line. 33.3 seconds left in the half.
If the Rebels score on this possession, that missed opportunity could haunt the Gators. Got to make that catch.
Singleton drops back. He's throwing it deep on the wheel route. Throws it out of bounds. I have to assume the wind got a hold of that one.
Yeah, it looked like it definitely sailed on him. I like the play calls, though. They're trying to score. They're going to take their shot here.
Why not? Why not? You're moving the ball. You've got an entire half to play. You don't score until you score.
Yeah. That's right. It's a John Maddenism right there.
Where's our telestrator? Draw some turkey legs on there. 3rd and 10 for Denver South. I formation. Singleton drops back. Screenplay snuffed out very well by Standley Lake. Wanted to get Tasco in space. I like the play call by Denver South.
Yeah, it was smart. Grant Gladstone, we just talked about guys making plays. Grant Gladstone just did it right there. Jumped up. Singleton didn't get enough air on it. It's going to bring up 4th down.
4th down with 22.8 left. With the wind and the lack of kicking game for Denver South, you don't even think about kicking the ball here. You're gonna get up and go for it.
Yeah, 22 seconds to go. Obviously, if you're the safeties, your cornerbacks, you don't let anybody behind you. Keep everything on the inside and let them play the middle of the field.
Looks like Durant's going to play the center field here. Hand off to Tasco, who bounces it outside. Cuts it up. Bounces off some tackles. He is into the end zone for a score.
What confidence in Coach Lindsay and his guy, Trevante Tasco.
Tasco with an amazing run.
I just said that's what you let them do if you're Standley Lake and they score a touchdown on you. You can't blame the Gators. That's just a heck of a run.
Now we know why Tasco is all-state running back.
Yeah.
Heck of a player.
He's off camera, but Gator mascot, he was bummed about that. He was just head down. I think he's starting to pick it back up, but mascot can't get down.
No, he cannot. Looks like Denver South is going to go for 2 here with Lindsay in the backfield. Looks like some movement up front. Tough to say whether that was defense that initiated the contact. We'll see what the call is here on this point after attempt. 34-7, Denver South Rebels with 19.2 seconds left. Encroachment by Standley Lake, so that will be half the distance to the goal, make it a little easier for the Rebels of Denver South.
You can hear that wind too when the referee opens his mic.
Yep. I formation for South.
Why you move? I think that ball's on the ground.
That ball is on the ground. Looked like that should have been illegal procedure by Denver South. No call, but it worked out for the Gators. Conversion is no good. 19.2 left here in the half, 34-7. The Rebels leading the Gators. Pretty one-sided affair to this point. Standley Lake has had a few opportunities. You talked about it, Josh, when Singleton threw the pass that kind of hung up there, and Durant could have made a play on it.
Yeah, you gotta, I mean, it's so frustrating. You just have to call somebody off. And Connor Durant, he's a big guy, 6'6", I think he stands. He's got to go up and get that football. You got to go get it at its highest point. And they should have only been one Gator in that area, but Connor Durant, the bigger player, he's got to go up there and get that. And the non-turnover led to 7 for the Rebels, and now the Gators have an even bigger deficit going into the half.
No question. No question. So we get the kickoff here. Standley Lake gets the ball. I have to assume they'll take a knee and take it into the half, depending on the return, of course. One thing that I find crazy is we look at this Standley Lake sideline and we see how many guys on crutches.
Yeah, Coach talked about it before the game. 8 starters. You and I said it before the game. You're missing 8 of your 22. That's going to hurt you.
At any level.
Yeah.
At any level, really. And a lot of these guys do play both ways, so.
Right.
The kick by Denver South. Deep by Lindsay. Fielded at the 6-yard line. Brought out to the left side. He's got some room. And he's brought down to the 29-yard line with 12.8 seconds left in the first half. Josh, if you're Coach Morse here, do you just take a knee and take it into the half?
Yeah, maybe you take one shot here on first down and see what it gets you. If it doesn't do anything, you just go into half. I wouldn't mind seeing a shot. You got Connor Durant. Let your big guy get on the outside, see if he can get any one-on-one. You see Denver South going to be smart about this.
Throwing the tee off the field, that's some good distance.
That's going to be his safety blanket, number 1, Mike Johnson.
Smart move by Denver South.
Yeah.
Saying, keep the ball in front of us at all costs.
It looks like they're going to just down it here. Nope, they're going to run the ball.
You hold on to that ball if you're Standley Lake. Looks like a loss of a few yards. That should get us to the half.
That was
looks like it will.
Perez. No room for the big fella.
That brings us to the half. Denver South leading 34-7 here on Stream It Sports. We'll see if Standley Lake can make this a game in a second. But as I said, that concludes the first half on Stream It Sports. We're going to take a break and be back in a few.